So hopefully you've all gotten a chance to see the final reckoning, and I'm now going to talk about my spoiler-filled thoughts on the movie, my issues, my thoughts, my comments, all of that. So spoiler alert ahead, if you have not seen the final reckoning, I will be doing a spoiler talk. Goodbye. 3, 2, 1, let's talk about it. Dude, what the hell with Luther? I suppose we'll open with that. The death of Luther Stickle. Like, that was a whole thing where I think you could really earn that moment. It could really feel like a moment of triumph and emotion for the series overall, but as it stood, it just, for me personally, it felt very rushed, and also didn't feel really well conveyed in what they were building to with it, because it's like the movie just starts and Luther's sick. They don't really explain why, he's just sick. He's like on a bed in a hospital-looking room, and it looks like he's dying. Then throughout the movie, they're talking to him with a somber like tone and approach, and I was trying to remember if Dead Reckoning Part 1 had anything alluding to that. I feel like I'm blanking. Call me crazy, did I miss something? But I don't remember Luther ever dying. It feels weird for this movie to kind of just shoehorn that in. Especially given the fact that he's going to sacrifice himself later. What was the point of putting that there? It just kind of felt like melodrama. I think I'd be less upset if Luther and the group had some more time to interact, had some more time to really give us that flavor of Mission Impossible before we saw him go out. As it stands, it feels very out of character for him to just kind of recite lines of meaningfulness without him feeling like he's saying it as Luther Stickle. It kind of just feels like self-aware dialogue of like, yes, this is the final chapter, but it doesn't feel natural. That's such a waste on a character that's always felt so natural throughout this series. It felt really rushed and just felt like it did a disservice to saying goodbye to Luther Stickle, one of his best friends. Like, I should have been weeping through this moment, and I was more just wondering if it was actually happening before me. And I spent a good chunk of the movie after being like, did they really just do it that way? If the death worked for you, that's awesome. I'm genuinely happy for that. For me personally, I was pretty let down. Either give a character a satisfying goodbye or don't make them say goodbye at all. Just one of the two. I do appreciate the heart at the very last shot and scene of the movie, though, where they have the message that Luther left for Ethan. I thought that was very heartfelt, and that did hit home for me, but it was in retrospect of the whole series, not necessarily this movie alone doing that. It was sweet that he left a message for Ethan, and very within character. I did really like that. As for another character I wanted more from a thrilling conclusion, Benji. I felt Benji was just so lacking in this film because Benji throughout the movie, he's supposed to be the next person after Luther that passes, and he's the friend of Ethan Hunt that's helping him through this journey. And by the end, you really are supposed to get the sense that, oh, he could die too. He gets shot, he has to talk Haley Atwell's character through diffusing the thing and connecting everything to the right point so the AI can trick itself into uploading it into this file thing that glows. While Ethan's on an airplane fighting in the air to stop Gabriel and get the switch there. While the president is trying to flip a switch somewhere else. There's a lot going on. Not all of it needed to be happening. But the final reckoning, I get it. Everyone needs to be doing something. At least the third act is trying to give everyone a little something to do. I just wish the rest of the movie did that too. Kind of felt like Haley Atwell's character was only here for that one moment at the very, very end. Because for the rest of the movie, she did jack shit. It's not her fault. It's just the writing of where they're maneuvering the characters. I felt like if we were going to replace Elsa Faust with her, do something with her to make it feel validated, Elsa Faust could have been in this movie instead of Haley Atwell. Nothing would have changed. As a matter of fact, maybe the scenes of comforting Ethan would have felt more earned because they have that history back and forth. That's where Haley Atwell was introduced in just the last movie, so it doesn't feel as natural. And yeah, Benji's dying in this moment almost, and I want to feel that emotion, but I feel like I haven't been watching Benji because Benji's personality is just absent from the whole movie, so I don't feel like... Again, it just doesn't feel earned at the moment where he is about to die. Comedic bit that did make me chuckle a lot, though, and the audience, was when he was about to pass out and he's telling Haley Atwell to cut the certain wire, and he's like, gotta cut the... And they hit him to knock him up and wake him up again. And they hit him to wake him up again because he's about to pass out. I thought that was really funny. In my head, I was like, oh, he's gonna pass out and they're not gonna know what to do. Steak escalation, nice. But no, it was actually a really funny joke as well. Either way, it would have worked, but it was funny. Benji is dying and Ethan Hunt is on a plane fighting Gabriel, and it's supposed to feel like the most world-ending stakes of the series. Yet I would feel those stakes more if Gabriel had any development or intrigue whatsoever. Again, he's just a pawn, a figure in Ethan Hunt's past, a made-up past, a retcon that had nothing to do with the other movies. A retcon that adds nothing to the character, a retcon that doesn't really justify its existence by the end of this one. Why did we introduce Gabriel this way? I wanted more development with him here. He was the same exact antagonist he was in the last movie, only even weaker this time, because the way he goes out just had me rolling my eyes. I thought I stepped into a Looney Tunes cartoon. It was when they were on the plane and the villain is dead to rights with Ethan Hunt. They're upside down. Ethan Hunt has the bag. He's about to escape. And the villain gets the parachute. It's the one parachute on the plane. He looks at Ethan. Gabriel looks at him tauntingly, and he's like, there's only one parachute, Ethan. Trips, falls, proceeds to split his head on the edge of the plane, and defeated. Gone. Eviscerated. Played for laughs. The theater laughed. I rolled my eyes. You mean to tell me the biggest villain, apparently, in Ethan Hunt's life, the thing that, like, kicked off this whole thing, that's how you take him out? No. No excuse. Even No Name from Ghost Protocol took himself out in a cooler way. Gabriel just looked like a bitch. That's the best way to describe it. I don't know. Why? It had me looking at the screen like James McAvoy in X-Men First Class when he looks at Mystique and is just like, I expect more from you. We've had instant, almost unceremonious death in Mission Impossible before, but usually it makes sense for the tone and the grit in the world it's going for. Philip Seymour Hoffman getting smacked by the car, hard scene to watch, but it makes sense in that fight. The guy in Ghost Protocol, again, shows how maniacal he is and how driven he is to the plan he has, so like it makes sense that he would do that. Here it was like, I don't know, how do you end this fight? Just, he hits his head, there. End of the saga. If Jason Momoa in Fast and Furious 10, 11, 12, whatever it is, has a better send-off than this guy, I'm gonna lose it. It just takes me back to making things feel naturally earned in this series. The series used to be so good at that. Like, this movie doesn't spend time having Ethan Hunt earn his status. I mean, yes, we see him go through actions, but a lot of the film is just the movie's dialogue reciting how cool he is. It's just reciting how much of a god he is, and that's never been how I viewed Ethan Hunt. Ethan Hunt is a man of action, a man who just wants to make it through. He cares about his friends, but he's someone who gains that status of hero by proxy of just what he's doing, not because he is the Messiah. Other people don't see him as that. The line from Rogue Nation where Alec Baldwin's like, he's the living manifestation of destiny, always made me laugh because I was like, that's as far as you can get with this. This series flew too close to the sun with that afterwards. There's only so much you can do that in a movie until the character feels like they just have cheat codes on. Like, there's no stakes. At a point, I was like, I know Ethan Hunt's gonna make it out of this. Maybe not the other friends, but he's probably gonna make it. We gotta leave room for another movie. Almost to the point where the film's like unapologetic about it. Like, apparently the villain says there's one more parachute in the plane. Ethan Hunt falls out. He just lands on the ground safely. I mean, okay, like, it doesn't even explain itself. It's just like, yeah, there was another parachute, or there was a way to get out. It makes the villain look even dumber. I also just could have done without the tie-ins to Mission Impossible 1 myself. Like, it didn't feel authentic, and it felt like it just kind of stole away time from the characters we know and love, and giving them their time to have an out, and giving them their time to develop in the final movie they're gonna be in, supposedly. Why waste time on flashbacks? There's so many flashbacks in this movie to directly reference other films to the point where I feel like it thinks the audience is dumb. It's the 8th movie in a franchise. Yeah, people are going to be lost, and that's okay. Trust your audience. Fast and Furious has less flashbacks than I think this one movie does. This franchise is usually so good at trusting its audience and treating them like they're competent while still delivering an action movie that makes you think but still excites you in a way that just gets your blood pumping. This one felt more like it was more about the action, less about making you think. I didn't like that. I spent so much time referencing the other movie and calling back to that one and showing shots from the first movie, the fourth one, the third one, the second one. You spend much less time developing the film you have here. And it's already a 3.5 hour movie. Don't waste your screen time. Never needed to know what the rabbit's foot was. Like, I get it, there are some people who really wanted to know what that thing was. It didn't matter. That wasn't the point. It was the plot device for character-driven writing. I don't care what the rabbit's foot is. This movie didn't need to tell me it. Again, it just feels like a lack of confidence. It feels like it wants to over-explain itself. Just trust your audience. Instead of spending time on MI3, let me spend time with Luther Stickles so I can mourn his death. Let me spend time with Benji so I can be scared when he's shot in the third act. The submarine scene is beautiful, is genuinely a monumental moment in filmmaking to pull that off. It's so claustrophobic. The plane sequence is excellent, genuinely a monumental moment in film stunt history. Which leaves me all the more bummed when I'm like, man, it feels like the Tom Cruise show, not Ethan Hunt and crew, like the other films do. Guys, at the end of the day, I feel like I was very harsh on this movie, but it just comes from the fact that I've loved every single film from this franchise, at least since 2006. When you're on a hot streak for that long, a generational run, it does hurt kind of more when a movie does disappoint, especially when you're trying to be the last chapter in the series. Fallout was so satisfying, it's kind of heartbreaking to see where they could have cut it, and then we get 2 more movies that are just like, eh. Obviously not for everyone. Art is subjective, and I love that people are enjoying this movie. The audience I was with was having a blast, and again, that made me so happy. It did put a smile on my face there. Like I like to say, any movie being made is a miracle. I'm still happy this franchise has been around for us for so long to enjoy this. It is a monumental moment in film franchise history. Regardless of my opinion, I was glad I've been there to witness it for these years. I hope you walk away thinking that, and not that I'm just a dick for disliking this movie. Anyway, did you enjoy The Final Reckoning? If you did, what were your thoughts on it? Thank you so much for watching this series with me and talking movies with me. I love you guys. I will see you next time.